tried to warn people. I tried to tell them that this was coming, but they didn't listen to me. What does he know? What does RGT know? He's an idiot. He's a moron. And I mean, you're not wrong. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed. I'm not the sharpest knife in the box. I'm not the brightest crayon in the box either, but I do have a basic knowledge of certain things. And I feel like I am good at analyzing a situation and seeing how that situation is going to play out. If you actually look at my track record when it comes to stuff like that, I think I'm pretty solid. But then, of course, once a big website comes along, once the video game journalist comes along and says exactly what I've been saying, probably based on the same information that I am looking at, that they are looking at, now all of a sudden, it's fair game. Now, all of a sudden, it's worth talking about. And I just have to sit back and chuckle because at the very least, I know that my dedicated audience was already expecting this. This isn't news to them because they've been watching this channel. I've been talking about it for months now. But for a wealth of new people, this is indeed brand new news. So what am I talking about? Well, it's really a twofold thing. Something that's a bit newer going on with the PlayStation 6, and then something going on with the Nintendo Switch 2 in 2026 that I said was going to happen. If this is your first time on the channel and you don't want to have to rely on places like Bloomberg to say the exact same thing that I said months ago, hit that subscribe button. No shade at Bloomberg. They report stuff that I don't report, and I report on that, but it's just weird to me. Anyways, so what's going on with this? First and foremost, the PlayStation 6. According to this Bloomberg report, Sony is considering pushing back the PlayStation 6 to 2028 or 2029. Now, this isn't the first time that we've heard that, and it probably won't be the last time that we've heard that because chip short. Like, I don't understand like why people would ask why with this. Why? Why would it be pushed back? Now, from a consumer standpoint, I don't think that's a bad thing. The state of play that we just got was actually very good, and there was a lot of games. So much, in fact, that they filled up a 70-minute time block of it. And it really feels like the PlayStation 5 is finally finding its footing. Sony is starting to realize not every game that comes out for the PlayStation 5 needs to be some over-the-shoulder, epic narrative, story-driven, simulator game with combat in it like they tend to do with a lot of their first-party titles. They can do smaller things. They can do offshoot things. They can, check out studios and help fund their projects and then make them exclusive to their console should they choose to do it, and then also come out on PC. I think it's a very smart move for Sony to do things like that. And I think that the PlayStation 6 not coming out till 2028 or 2029, that's a good thing. I don't understand. I do not understand whatsoever the inherent need that some people have for new consoles. I don't understand it. This is not a situation like it, because people always like to look back at the 90s and say, well, look at how consoles were in the 90s. 3-4 years, and then you're talking about the new thing and it comes out 5 years after. That's the kind of stuff we need. And no, it's not, you moron. The reason why consoles were so short-lived in the 90s and the 80s and the early 2000s was because technology was advancing. You're going from 2D sprites to 3D textures to texture mapping to open world games to new controls. All sorts of stuff was happening. Innovation is completely dead in the video game industry, much like it is in Hollywood, because every idea has pretty much already been done that's a tangible enough idea to where it would make sense in order to put money into it. That's why you see remakes and remasters in both video games and in Hollywood, because all of the original ideas have been done. Like, what more can you do? What more can you really do? So now you're at the point where it's like technological leaps are so insignificant, really. The Switch 1 to the Switch 2 is probably the biggest technological leap that we've seen in quite a while. Like the PlayStation 4 to the PlayStation 5, there were so many cross-generational games, it wasn't really anything super crazy. At least with the Switch 2, you got like 4K stuff, but even that isn't that crazy of a jump. It's just kind of catching up to what the other consoles have been doing for a generation or two now. I don't need a PlayStation 6. What I need is a PlayStation 5 with more games. And I think Xbox and PlayStation should both just wait. Things are going to get worse before they get better with this situation, with the chip shortage situation and the AI revolution and all this bullshit that's attached to it. But this is a two-part story, folks, because now I got to gloat a little bit. Because what do I always say on this channel? Say it with me in the comments. I expect you to type this out in the comments. Yesterday's price is not today's price, and today's price is not tomorrow's price, because now what is Bloomberg talking about? Oh, wait a minute. Nintendo is considering a Switch 2 price increase in 2026. Sound the bells, ring the alarms. The obvious is now being stated by a large website, so now people are listening. I was the crazy person on the side of the road talking about this previously. What is Argentino? He's just spouting old man yells at the cloud, and it's like, nah, dog. I can look and see how this is going. Nintendo, this is a different era of Nintendo. And I'm not even necessarily saying that if Iwata was still in control, like, this wouldn't happen. But Iwata is not in control anymore. Furukawa is a business-minded person. He's not coming out there and saying, I'm a gamer first and a game developer second. He's saying, hey, we're here to make money. We're here to make money on the console, on the games, for the shareholders, and to make this company as profitable as possible. And when you have certain components of a system now costing you more money to have access to in order to create the system that you want to then sell to the consumer, you're going to have to make up for it somewhere. This is something that has been a long time coming with this. Yesterday's price is not today's price. Today's price is not tomorrow's price. If you honestly think that we are going to end 2026 with the Nintendo Switch 2 not being $500 for a base model of the system, you know, no pack-in game or anything like that, I think you're crazy. I think you should hope that it's $500. Because like I said, these components are not going to magically make themselves appear. Nintendo is not immune to this. We talked about it like a week and a half ago when people were pressing Furukawa on the price increase, and he was very vague. He talked about the current quarter and the current fiscal year. Well, that's just up until March 31st. That's right around we're almost done. What about the upcoming thing? And there are ways that they can circumvent that. You could throw Welcome Tour and Wheelchair Basketball into the mix, digital titles that didn't sell extremely well for the Switch 2, to sort of add an additional value to it. Maybe include, you know, a couple months of Switch Online service or something like that. But I think it's not a matter of if the Switch 2 is going to go up in price. I think it's a matter of when is it going to go up in price. And I honestly feel like, you know, if I'm a betting man, I think it happens in the summer, because that kind of lines up with everything here. All right. So the end of the fiscal year is March 31st. So now you're in the clear to the investors. All you said was, we're good for this fiscal year. Now you're in a new fiscal year. You don't want to do something around the holidays with like Black Friday and stuff like that, and then increase the price of it or something like that. If anything, you want to revert back to your old price temporarily and allow people access to your system. So I think you do it over the summer when kids are out of school and they're looking for things to do and new video games to play, especially if you have like a larger summer title, you know, a big marquee title, something to actually, you know, make people want to buy a Nintendo Switch 2. I think that makes perfect sense. You do it early summer, you increase the price by $50. Holiday season, you drop it down $50. You make it up in the amount of sales that you get on it. And then once the holiday season is over, you go back up in price. I don't know why people are surprised by this. I don't know why people are shocked by this, because they shouldn't be. I've been telling you guys this. I can look at a situation and, you know, deduce what is happening and what it actually means in terms of practicality for the company. This is a different Nintendo. This is a different PlayStation. This is a different video game world that we live in. I used to live in the old one. I was around for the 90s. All right. I saw all that stuff. I was nose deep in Game Pros and EGMs. It's a different world. It's a different ball game now. And you got to understand that. And it's just going to get worse because you have to make stupid ass AI images and things of that nature. Anyways, guys, let me know in the comment section down below. Do you think the PlayStation 6 needs to come out sooner? Because I don't see why you would think that. And what do you think about the Switch 2 probably getting a price increase? Like I said, it's not a matter of if it happens. It's a matter of when it happens. Hopefully it's just $50, but who the hell knows, man? It could be even more expensive. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, comment, and share. Check out the video from earlier today. I took a look at Gear Club Unlimited 3 on the Switch 2. You're getting a double dose of content today because I care about you. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.